Well, today TSA is expecting another busy day for travel. DIA is expecting more than 500,000 people will have gone through security between the weekend and today. So far, flights looking pretty okay. 35 delays right now, and at last check, 9 cancellations at DIA.
We are in the middle of what AAA calls the 100 deadliest days of summer. And happening today, Colorado State Patrol is cracking down on dangerous driving. Brianna Fernandez is live along I-25 this morning. And Brianna, this is a problem that only gets more intense over the summer.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Anusha. So we know last year, 745 people died on the roads here in the state of Colorado. And that is the most that Colorado State Patrol has seen in more than 40 years, which is why they're trying to team up with local agencies to make sure that they bring awareness and bring down that trend that they have seen here in the state of Colorado, as well as in their local communities. So we know last year, the counties in our area with the most road fatalities were Denver, Arapahoe, Adams, and Jefferson County as well. Of the people killed in 2022, 36% were outside the vehicle. And Colorado State Patrol says they were walking, biking, or riding motorcycles. A reminder that it's not just drivers who are at risk. So right now we're also in the 100th day, deadliest days of summer, like you guys mentioned, a period between Memorial Day as well as Labor Day. That's where they see a spike in crashes as well as fatalities. So this campaign, they plan to make the road safer by curbing dangerous habits that they see on the roads, like driving while impaired, speeding, and being distracted by smartphones. So we know later today, Colorado State Patrol, they're going to be announcing their strict enforcement period. And they're also going to be bringing out a campaign to bring awareness, to make sure everyone's safe out on the roads. That news conference is set to happen at noon today. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thanks so much for that, Brianna. Also happening this morning, police are still looking for the person who shot and killed a motorcyclist on I-70. This happened on I-70 near Colorado Boulevard. Denver police had first said yesterday morning that a motorcyclist was hurt in a crash, but then several hours later, they said they were investigating the incident as a shooting and looking for a suspect. The eastbound lanes of the highway were closed for several hours. That was from Brighton Boulevard to Colorado Boulevard during that investigation. So far, no one has been arrested.
This week, at least 8 people have died and 19 others are recovering after mass shootings all across the country. Just within the last hour, 9 people, including 2 kids, were shot in D.C. It happened early this morning. Police say that someone drove down the street, stopped, and shot toward people at a 4th of July party. They believe it was a targeted attack. So far, no one is in custody. The youngest victim is 9 years old. Everyone is expected to recover. Just a few hours after that shooting, 3 people died and 8 others were hurt in a shooting after a community gathering in Fort Worth, Texas. We just got this new video of the scene. Police found several people shot in a parking lot. They think several people started shooting into a crowd, then ran off. And it's been 1 year since 7 people were killed at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park near Chicago. Neighbors walked together down last year's parade route. The city decided to have a drone show instead of fireworks to avoid the noise, reminding people of gunshots. For nearly a decade, July 4th and 5th have accounted for more mass shootings than any other day of the year. Since 2014, 4 days have seen mass shootings in the double digits. 3 of them happened over the most recent July 4th holiday weekends. Overall, summer days have a higher number of mass shootings than other times of the year.
Guns will be on the docket for the Supreme Court when they go back into session. The justices will be deciding whether people who are accused of domestic violence and have a restraining order can legally own guns or not. A lower court ruled that the law is unconstitutional based on a previous Supreme Court ruling. More than 1 million acts of domestic violence happen in the U.S. every year, and victims are much more likely to be killed when a gun is involved. Domestic violence advocates and victims both say allowing these people to have guns is dangerous, like this woman who doesn't want to be identified after escaping an abusive situation.
The hope is them removing their guns or have to turn in their guns, will keep you safe. It's a lot of blood.
She says that she wasn't just worried about her safety, she was worried about her daughters as well. The next Supreme Court term is going to start in October.
Taking a live look at the White House right now, where the Secret Service is investigating a bag of powder found in the West Wing. An initial test showed that the powder was cocaine, but they have to do more tests just to be sure. The White House was evacuated on Sunday night after that bag was found. It was in an area where employees and visitors can leave their phones or other belongings before going into other parts of the West Wing. The Secret Service will now look at security cameras and entrance logs to figure out who put the bag there in the West Wing.
A federal judge is blocking stopping several Biden administration officials and federal agencies from contacting social media companies about certain content. A U.S. district judge who was appointed by former President Trump ordered the agencies and officials not to communicate with companies about taking down content containing protected free speech. Some of those agencies include the Department of Health and Human Services, the Justice Department, and the FBI. The government can still contact the companies about national security threats or illegal activity.
It is now 6:08 on your Wednesday morning, and Denver is considering giving extra cash to families impacted by the pandemic. The city is looking at using $3 million in federal COVID funds to help families who were not eligible for other COVID benefits over the last 3 years. The plan is to give certain families up to $1,500. The city's Office of Immigrant and Refugees Affairs expects to help up to 2,000 households with as many as 4,200 children. The city would work with the nonprofit Impact Charitable and community groups to share the money. Impact Charitable is already helping with the city's basic income pilot project, giving monthly payments to people experiencing homelessness.
CSU students are suing to get their money back after the campus shut down in the early days of COVID. Now Colorado's Court of Appeals is letting that lawsuit move forward. Students were arguing CSU should have refunded their tuition and other fees when campus shut down in 2020, since they were losing the in-person experience. The judge decided CSU was within its rights to close campuses, but that students can still make their case. The University of Colorado system did agree to settle a similar lawsuit that was back in April, refunding students $5 million for fees collected in spring of 2020.
And one thing you want to know about the weather is just how cool it's going to be today. 22 degrees below normal for the city of Denver. We do have some showers and thunderstorms, some reaching severe levels once again. Only 60s to around 70 degrees. Warming up tomorrow to 70s to around 80 degrees, but still, storms persist.